This is celebration. This is levitation. Look at how you winning now. This is dedication. This is meditation. Higher education. This the official competitor elimination. I was taking trips with Web to move weight. Came back to Queens and hit up a new state. Bitches don't know the half like they flunked their math. Bitches ain't had cut up, crack up in the stash. 50 cent Italian, icy flow. It's that run and get $1 for the ice cream cone. Cause they killed my little cousin Nicholas.
What's up, everybody? You are watching The Glow Up with Nikki. We are live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Make sure that you like, follow, share, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to join the conversation, make sure you do so. We are talking about got to stop. What's happening in your community that just got to stop? So up next week, I am going to introduce my homegirl all the way in New York, Erica Lucille. Come on through.
Hey everybody, what's going on in the D? I have so much respect for the D. I'm so excited. I cannot believe.
I'm excited to have you, girl. Like, this is fun.
Listen, 2 major cities have done 2 million major things. You know, the historical city of Detroit. I'm just saying, I take my hat off to you for the things that you're doing in that city, how you're moving the city. You know, there's just so much history there that I'm delighted to be here. So thank you.
And thank you for being here. I mean, like, just to have my guests all the way in New York just chiming in. And, like, you know, before I even really get into who Erica is, I want everybody to take the time to follow her. Don't laugh.
Gotta Stop LLC. Got to Stop LLC, not got to Stop LLC.
She spelled it correctly.
Yeah.
T-O.
Yeah.
Right? Got to
T-O-T-O-S-T-O-P LLC.
Listen, but when you follow her, don't laugh, because when I tell you she be in the streets, like it ain't nobody business. Go
on Facebook too. They go on Facebook too.
Facebook, Instagram Live, going in. All right.
Facebook is AKA Lucia Francis and Got to Stop at the think tank. So I put a lot of things in there with the communities that I've been able to build. So it's really been a lot of fun. So definitely join the community.
Join the movement. But Erica, just kind of let everybody know, who is Erica Lucille? Who are you, lady?
You know what? I'm just trying to figure out, like I said, like I saw on TikTok, this sounds successful. I glow, right?
Okay.
You know, at this point, does it really matter what your credentials say as much as it about how you feel and about what you're actually doing, the actions that you're taking? So I'm gonna say I'm a woman with a big heart. I'm a human being. I'm into human beings thriving and surviving, and particularly Black people who look like me and are misrepresented, underrepresented, the people that don't have voices, the people that have voices but they haven't been amplified. So I'm not saying they don't have a voice, they have a voice, but no one wants to listen to them. You know, I'm somebody who's looking at things from a critical lens and making sure we're making sense. We got to make it make sense. And right now, the things that are going on in this world are not making any sense. And I know that there's things that we can do collectively as a community and also individually to stop things. We don't have to continue on with this discord and this chaos. It's got to stop.
Got to stop. So that's where your name, your clothing line, your brand, your entire being, your mission came into play. Got to stop.
So there's a couple things that happened with Got to Stop. I started in 2018 and I was in a terrible car accident.
Kinda.
Yeah, 2018 is when it officially launched, in June 2018.
I thought it was like
official LLC, you know, the paperwork, all that great stuff.
Okay.
But it evolved in 2017 when I had a car accident. I had a major car accident. There's a whole documentary about it. And I couldn't speak. Okay. It knocked out my teeth. I mean, for the one thing that did it, knocked out my teeth, and you can't speak. And with someone who I speak all the time, public speaker, you know, I'm a master's in fine arts, I'm with the Smith, I'm with the Rutgers, I'm acting, I'm public speaking, I'm everywhere, right? I'm educating. Now I can't talk. So now, again, I'm putting myself in the position of those that, what if you don't have a voice? So what do you do? How do you express yourself? How do I get my message across? And that's where the designing started coming digitally. I started just designing and talking about words, things that had to stop, just brainstorm with some girlfriends one day, just this is the things. And then it turned into a logo, right? And I said, nah, you know what? I'm gonna turn this into a fashion statement. This is gonna be a lifestyle brand. This is like, I'm gonna walk in this and live in this. I'm gonna know every day that this has to stop. And guess what? I start with me stopping it. So it's a consciousness that I carry every day when I'm wearing the brand. And when people wearing the brand, it's not about just you have to stop. I have to stop.
You said I have to stop. What?
Yes.
Like what? Like what is
self-hate? Let's start with self-hate.
Okay.
Let's start with the fact that trauma has hit our community generationally, right? But I have to stop self-hating. I cannot exploit myself. I have to find ways to fight against the things that they want to do to make money off of me, right? I want to get in front of my own narrative. I want to tell my own narrative, right? Okay. I gotta stop asking people to validate me. Am I pretty? Am I good enough? Right? Am I smart enough? No. I am, and I am. Those are things we have to stop. And that's every day. That's just like you wake up and go, I don't do that anymore. No, things happen in your life. There's setbacks. And you have to now take another leap of faith and say, look, I'm not that narrative. I'm not that story. That moment does not define me. Right? So self-hate is a big one. And I feel like that's something that we need to stop. That where it starts in terms of idea making, how far we go with our dreams, our visions. That's a major one. I look at that major.
To be able to say, hey, I got to stop this mess.
Yeah.
I have to stop beating myself up.
I
have to stop being insecure. I got to stop with all of the messiness.
Pettiness. I got to start to understand what forgiveness looks like, because it doesn't look like
forgiveness is hard.
Forgiveness is hard because you know what? It's different for everybody. It's people keep trying to equate forgiving and forgetting. And I'm like, no, let's talk about what lessons did we learn? And whose lesson was it? Because there's sometimes things happen with forgiveness that's not your lesson, actually. That wasn't yours to take on.
Okay.
Right. We've got to learn that wasn't ours to take on. So it shouldn't be difficult to forgive them because they do not know what they do. You know, when they talked about you and slandered your name, they don't know who they're messing with. They what? Okay, you hold that. I'm gonna keep moving because I really it's as if you don't receive it. We've got to figure out like how do we let things bypass us, like the wind. Gone with the wind. Oh, it's gone.
Gone with the wind. Fabulous.
Oh yeah, honey, you spun out of control and right past me, honey. You like a spinning top.
Right.
You know, you can go around and around and I'm still unmovable, unshakable, right? Irreplaceable. Okay. So these are things that I know that when we talk about women and empowerment and we talk about just people empowerment and Black empowerment, we have to stand our ground. We cannot waver. We just cannot waver from who we are and what we're made of, what we're capable of. I know we can change some things, and it doesn't take a million people to do so. We know this. When you talk about people that have invented things, there's been one inventor. Now, after they've gotten a lot of people to come and maybe scale their invention.
And they start tweaking some stuff,
right? And we start to, but come on. It was created. And that creation of just light, electricity. And then they tell the narrative that it wasn't us. Come on now. Right? Because we don't see ourselves because that's not what they want to tell us. They don't want to show us that. That's why I'm appreciating some of the movies that are coming out now. You know, one that they did on Madam C.J. Walker. You know, whether it was historical fiction, everything wasn't always true, but they were making the point that this woman was out here making moves, boss moves, getting the bag, as they say, and leaving a legacy. She didn't just get the bag and not leave a legacy. And she wasn't the only one doing it. They touched on that as well.
Okay, and you know what? And that's, you know, the premise of everything, you know, that I'm trying to focus on here at this show. It's about getting the bag and leaving a legacy, right? Because, I mean, it's typically easy to get the bag, right? I mean, you can go to school, you can be educated, you can obtain a great career. I mean, let's be real, you can be a gold digger, right? And get the bag, right? But how can you successfully get the bag and be self-made and leave a legacy, right?
That's that. I mean, to me, if you're not leaving a legacy, what's the point?
What's the point? Like, what are you giving back to the community?
And you know what? This is the funny thing. I'm not going to be mad at people because sometimes they can't figure it out. Okay. They don't know yet. It hasn't come to them yet. I'm going to wait on people and say, you know, you got a little bit more time. Because maybe they haven't figured out how they can be effective and impactful, right? But again, that's again about assessing the community, assessing, okay, what I got the bag for what? I know you didn't get the bag to just accumulate a bunch of things with other people's names on it.
I mean, but some people do though. Let's be real, because some people are label whores. A lot of people are label whores.
And then to me, the question is, but the value has left the building once you purchased it. Once you put it on, there's no value.
Then it go out of season.
It depreciates
in a couple of months, right?
And then you find it in Goodwill, right? And you did it because what? Because to impress, to say you had a certain status symbol. You know, I'd rather you just have a card that says I'm a boss.
Because is it equivalent to a Gucci bag?
Right, just have a boss card. You want to wear a boss, say I'm a boss. That's it. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to say to this: it's nice to have nice things. If that's your definition of niceness. If that's everybody doesn't define it the same way. Success, and that's the thing. We may focus on a certain percentage that are, as you said, label people, right? But that's not everybody.
It's not everybody.
But that's what we focus on because we want people to be consumers. Right? Because we're the biggest consumers. If we stop buying the labels and create our own labels, as if like what I'm doing with my fashion, there'd be a whole different story in a conversation.
It will be. You know, like this is my issue. You know, like I say, it's nothing wrong with the bag, the Prada bag, the Gucci bag, the Louis bag, if that's what you want, right? But once you allow those things to define you, then it becomes a problem. You know, in the work that I do as well as you do, it's just like we have homelessness, right? We have mental health crisis going on out here. Women are being trafficked. Veterans are coming home with nowhere to live, nothing to eat, nowhere to go, nothing, right?
You think about veterans, you're talking about people came out of the pen because of COVID. The petty thefts that they let go. People didn't want to take them in either. Right.
You know, but it's just like all of these world issues that's going on.
But this is the thing. Take it back though. Take it back. Because so I'm gonna take a step back here. When some of these bags were made, like a Louis Vuitton bag is really made out of vinyl. Let's just be clear. It's made out of vinyl. Okay. It was made to last. It was a staple bag. I don't know if it was meant to have 20,000 of them or 30 of them in your closet. That one can take you through a whole 2, 3, 4, 5 years because I know it because my mother started buying Louis Vuitton back in the 80s.
Well, so that's like the original, the real one.
Yeah, I'm talking about the original, the Coach bag. I got my first Coach bag at 12, 13. That was like my rite of passage bag. You know how I still have that bag. It was made out of cowhide leather. It had
like $1,000 then, was it?
Girl, no. And it was made out of cowhide leather. It has the serial number in it. It was very special. I didn't need another bag, and I still don't. It's small, so again, it doesn't carry as much. And I was 13 at the time. How much stuff am I putting in there, right? But the bottom line was, it was made to last. I don't know if it was made to accumulate 30,000 and say, oh, look at all my Louis, like a pair of sneakers. Now, pairs of sneakers, I have to say, they're made very cheaply. They're cheaply made. And in a lot of the hoods, you know, they're not even real. They got knockoff Nike. They got Nike off, not This is the thing. Knock off Air Ones.
How do you knock off Air Ones?
That's really wrong. And you basically are duping these children. That's why they now know, like, they're going trading and sneaker, you know, the sneaker whole thing about getting the designer sneaker, because these kids are realizing these are not the real thing. Like, there's no way I could be down the basketball court and now all of a sudden the heel is flapping off. Come on now. Like, these people found a way to knock off things and sell it back to our community as if it was the original. So, you know, I mean, this is not good. But we see the name, we don't even examine it. I mean, I think we got Uggs and Smugs in Harlem. Okay?
You know, okay, all right. You know what? We're going to have to get into Harlem stories.
Oh my God. Listen, I see Uggs, Shrugs, Mugs, Fugs in Harlem.
No.
Everybody can't afford an Ugg, honey. Because I tried to put my big old foot in an Ugg that didn't fit. Because I spent $80 at DSW. That thing was cutting up my circulation, and I just had to have some Uggs. No, I did not. They were shrugging. Girl, I gave those things away so fast. I was like, oh, I can't do this.
Were they Uggs?
Girl, they were Uggs, and they were the leather ones. And because I saw them at DSW in the top, the clearance, I was like, oh, I'm grabbing them. They $80. They really $300. They hurt my feet.
And they, oh my God.
So what was the point of that?
So everyone, we are going to take a small intermission. You are watching the Glow Up with Nikki. We are streaming live right now on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Make sure you like, follow, share, comment, and subscribe.
Yes.
And this is WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest station in the world. And if you want to join this hot conversation, make sure you hit us up. The number is 313-355-6018. So back to your Harlem stories, right? So, you know, we kind of got into, you know, the poverty, the world issues, and it's not just in New York. It's not just in Detroit, you know, it's everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So this is a U.S. issue, right?
World, global.
It is global, you know, but especially here in the U.S. where you have just so much BS that got to stop, you know, racism, racial profiling. You know,
but let's just start with the fact, pick up my garbage.
Okay.
Pick up my garbage.
Pick up the garbage. You know, I want to kind of get into like the advocacy work.
The advocacy work is real, you know.
Advocacy work, like around the issues that you're having.
I have an issue almost every day because when I walk outside and I see something, I'm going to say something and I mean it. I'm going live on it. And I'm going to be making phone calls about it. I don't want to sit back and just and just take it. No. I want you to see the issue because sometimes people have to see that visual, right? So I will record in a second. Look at this garbage. You didn't talk about, oh, New York is the dirty city. It's not our fault. We're like any other city. You accumulate garbage, you throw it out. They need to pick it up. They tell you to put it out on the street. That's not our job to go get the big old truck and take it wherever they take it. But you do it in black neighborhoods and say we're a mess with slobs. Come on, that doesn't make any sense. But we've been taking that L. We've been taking that narrative. We've been, all right, yeah, New York City, you know, it's dirty. But why is it dirty? What's going on? We're paying taxes. Why is it that way? Are the landlords not making enough noise? But then we start blaming each other. Oh, girl, pick that up. Listen, one little rapper on the street ain't going to change the fact they're not picking up the garbage. So let's stop, you know, beating each other up and get to the root of the problem, the systemic root of the problem. And that's where the advocacy work begins. We look at the symptoms. We look at the, you know, the conditions. We look at the consequence of something, but we're not looking at, well, where did this all start? Who's dropping the ball? Who's not getting paid? Who's refusing to go pick up the garbage in Harlem? What's that about? You know what they did? They got rid of garbage cans here. There was one morning people woke up and the garbage cans were gone. Garbage cans were gone.
So what do you do with your garbage if the garbage cans are gone? Like, I'm confused.
Right. They've been fighting this for a while. They woke up in the morning and the garbage cans were gone. Then you talk about the rat problem. Well, downtown, they have the garbage cans that have tops on it. Uptown, we still doing the tin thing, not a bag line or just throwing. I mean, come on. What do you think you're going to have a problem? You are going to have a problem. There are rodents. There are rodents everywhere. Rats live everywhere. You just might not see them, but they're there. They've been here for centuries, and they'll be here. They multiply. They have a whole family in the ecosystem. Okay? It's not just New York rats. There's Detroit rats. There's Montana rats. But maybe in Montana, they got somewhere else to go because we're not messing with their ecosystem and where they live and what they do. But again, we will look at that and go, oh, it's us. It's so about us. And that's when we got to get into looking at systemic root causes and talking to enough people to get different perspectives, right? Because you may have your one perspective, but then I got to talk to a couple more people. And that's what the clothing does as well, Ivy, right? I'm walking down the street, people see an issue, and now they have a conversation. And I love getting multiple perspectives because when I come to the table, right, and I'm invited to tables or I storm in the door and say, I'm at this table, okay, I'm going to take my rightful seat. I come with a lot of research and anecdotal research on top of historical research. So it's really, really important to continue to have conversations with all kinds of people, not just ones that look like us, because it's great to see the perspective of what do they think about gentrification? You know, what do you think about you in my neighborhood? Well, why are you here? Let me ask that question. Why did you want to live here?
Right.
What did you think was going to happen when you got here? We going to stop playing our music? Frankie Beverly and Maze is an anthem in Harlem. You're going to hear that in the summertime. You are going to hear it.
Okay.
You're not going to tell us to turn that off. When they've extended the parks to be open to 1:30 a.m., no, the music will last. Let the music play. You're not going to get us to turn it off to a 311. I've been on chats with people, oh, the music. And I'm like, but it was okay when you had music for the block association. But it's not okay for people in the park to have celebrations. They haven't seen their families in a long time. They're celebrating graduations. They can't afford a big old hall and a catering hall. But what they can afford is someone to come out there at 5 o'clock in the morning, stake out the spot, decorate, bring some music, all right? Bring some potato salad, some chicken, okay? Make it beautiful. That's their celebration. Leave these people alone. Leave us alone. Because I look at it like not these people, it's me people. Leave us alone. I'm enjoying it from my window. I face the park. I'm not complaining. I love hearing people. Because during COVID, guess what? I heard nothing. I didn't even hear the sounds of children laughing. I hardly even heard an argument. Usually I would get into the arguments. You know, I'm like that window girl, like, what they talking about?
Oh,
what's happening out there?
Stand by the window?
Yeah, girl. I be looking at the window. I be like, you know, making sure everything don't get out of hand. You know, because I believe in community policing. I believe in community taking care of community first. Right? Okay. So the thing that I'm looking at, like I told you before, me being almost attacked on the street in the beauty supply. You know, I was traumatized by that. I had to call you about that because I didn't know what I was supposed to do. But what did we do? You gave me some tips. I'm ready for her now. I found her name. Okay, her name is Olivia. I know where she lives. I know her whole MO, where she lives in the train station, why she's over here, and she does this to people. Well, you know what? I need people to help Olivia. Because there's a lot of Olivias out there. And also, how did I trigger Olivia? I moved away from her. I was like, oh, no, wait. No mask. You up near me in the makeup. I moved. I offended her. So let's look at it from her perspective. We haven't been on the street in ages. Now, all of a sudden, everybody's on the street when she was on the street the entire time.
Yeah.
Whose space is it? So we have to start to be sensitive.
We're going to kind of shift gears a little bit. I see Ken Snap just logged in. We are going to welcome him to the show. He is out busy as ever. Ken Snap, Detroit City Council candidate for District 4. Come on in. Thank you for zooming us in.
I can't wait to meet him. We just had our election. Hey, Ken.
Hey, what's going on? How y'all doing?
Good.
Thanks for popping in. I know you out there.
Actually, yeah, I'm working on a car right now. Actually,
oh my god. Okay.
I'm just doing everything today. So my dad's car, somehow a line snapped. So we're just taking up parts of his car right now before I go out and canvas. So I'm like, let me stop by Ivy's show real quick.
Well, you know what, Ivy, I love the fact that people know that social justice entrepreneurs and activists, we have a life too. You know, we do fix cars.
Yeah.
You know.
we try to get it in.
To do that, but that's a whole nother show. I don't listen. While I'm putting gas in my car, I don't know. Fixing the tire, putting air in it. Listen, I had a flat tire. Well, my tire was low. I went right to the shop. It was like, can you put air in my tire? Don't be shaking your head at me, kid.
That's not the problem all the time. You could have a valve stem messed up. You could have, it could be you need a suspension change. It could be a whole bunch of stuff though.
You talking a whole foreign language.
Yeah, but you got to go to the professionals. If the brothers can help, but come on, in Detroit, y'all know y'all into cars. They know what to do. Every probably other brother on the street, I'm assuming knows what to do with a car.
Yeah,
I wouldn't invest my whole car trying to put air in it.
Well, Kim, maybe you can keep putting air in her tire. Maybe she need to come by your house.
Yeah.
So you can maintain her car. You could do the monthly maintenance.
Yeah.
Done.
But Ken, when is your election?
My election is August 3rd.
Wow, we just had elections here. We did ranked choice voting. It was a little bizarre.
Yeah. So we're talking about things in the community that got to stop. And with all of the issues,
sorry, are you breaking up? I don't know why it's so still on my end.
It's staticky. Can you hear me now?
It's just a little more. It's a little bit.
Okay, I don't know. Maybe I'm too close. I don't know. But we're just talking about everything that just got to stop as far as what's going on in the community and moving beyond advocacy work. And this is where you come in, because for you to be an actual advocate, you're actually saying, you know what, I need to be in the position of power to make changes.
Right.
So let's talk about that a little bit.
Is once you get those people in place, you can't just stop there if bills don't get passed. And a lot of times people elect folks, and they stop where the ball ends. So a lot of times, hello.
Yep, we can hear you. Is he?
Uh-oh.
I don't know.
He was getting into it. He was into that holding people accountable.
Yeah, he'll be back. But
but he's telling the truth. I mean, once you put people in office, you gotta hold them to the fire.
Yeah. So in about 2 minutes, we're gonna actually go on our little break, and he'll be back, and then we can finish discussing that, and we can actually get into like the Black Lives Matter movement that you've been working.
The Black Lives Matter, just the movement in itself, for me, it's always been the concept of what the words really mean, right? And I started with Black Lives Matter being the chief of staff of Greater New York, one of the chapters here, which is not the George Soros chapter. People that's actually doing their own thing with it. Those were red, black, and green. It was not yellow and black to signify the caution tape for police brutality. But I was looking at a lot of different issues. Definitely from police brutality, the things that happened with Eric Garner, and we can go on and on of all the different things that happened in New York historically to Black people and dying, being murdered, in police custody. And then I really wanted to focus on our kids and our youth, getting them civically engaged. And so we did a whole 5-borough march where we had youth and families coming from all the 5 boroughs converging to the Trump Tower. And that was beautiful. I'm talking people marched from Bronx, Brooklyn, Staten Island, Queens, right, and Manhattan. And we all converged in Brooklyn. And that was amazing, right? So that was one of the things that we wanted to make sure that the youth had a voice, right, to establish that the youth are going to lead. And then I went on to talk about human trafficking and the whole Find Our Girls March. And that was extraordinary because never had people said, well, Black Lives Matter, how does that include that? No, these are our lives, right? When you want to take it back to when you talk about trafficking, you talk about poverty. People are doing things because they don't have, opportunities. And if this is the only opportunity to exploit you to get a bag or to get a coin, I'm going to do it. It's less risk than drugs. It's less risk than guns, right? So, and what? With human trafficking, we're human beings. The commodity, the actual material is walking around every day. It's already made. The product is already made. I don't have to put it in a shed and I don't have to give green light. Right? It is born. Right? And looking to be taken advantage of. And that's where that started to happen. And people were really, really almost had to fine tune their ears to what they were hearing. And because it was something that was hidden in plain sight. And because back to what we said about our narratives, our own narratives about who we are, self-esteem, what has been going on, pimping and hoes, that's been going on for the longest. Does that mean it was right? Right? I mean, let's go back and because something's been happening for centuries like slavery and we're still being enslaved, does that make it right? And then people had to think about that. And then, okay, it's okay. Is it okay if it's your child? Oh, no, not my child. Well, guess what? It's your children now who are under attack. Whole communities under attack. Families put in positions where they are actually doing the trafficking to get the bag.
And you know what? We actually see that a lot to actually talk about Black Lives Matter in the whole perception of where are the missing Black girls, right? Because I think it was last summer I attempted, I'm gonna say, to have this march, right? It was supposed to be downtown. I had called a few people, I had a few speakers or whatever, and absolutely nobody showed up, right? Because why? The media is constantly portraying the missing girls as juvenile runaways, right? So when you're classified as a juvenile runaway, then no one cares. It's as if, oh, she always does this, right? This is just her thing. She's just a fast-ass little girl, right? Not understanding that what is she running to and why is she running away from what it is that she's running away from, right? But none of that even matters when you're actually talking about our girls, our Black girls, because guess what? You can say, oh, well, we're going to talk about human trafficking in the sense of exploiting kids. But guess what? That little girl eventually becomes a grown adult, right? And she eventually becomes a legal adult, meaning she's over the age of 18. So now she's a legal adult. And now you're saying, oh, she's a sex worker, right? But again, that's a whole nother show, and I promise y'all we'll get into
we have to get into it because you just said a whole mouthful.
Go into detail actually about that next week.
Deep water.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say who my guest is going to be next week, but we're really gonna hit it hard next week as it pertains to trafficking. Well,
what the beauty is, I'm going to say this before you even move on, is that how we met is understanding that what's happening in Detroit is happening in New York, is happening in Miami, is happening. So we can help each other. So we can help each other with strategies. We can help each other with the messaging, right? It's so important that we don't see ourselves as separate and apart in fighting this thing. Coming together is really, really important. Survivors, advocates, thrivers, lawmakers, law enforcement. We need everybody on hands on deck. Teachers, educators.
Mm-hmm.
This is huge.
Yeah, definitely is. So for everyone out there watching, just a FYI, Ken got kicked out.
Oh no.
He said he cannot get back And so we will definitely hear from him again at a later date. If he's able to jump back in before we're done, then cool. But if not, I will be bringing him back into the studio for another show. And, you know, whatever it is, best of luck, whatever it is that you're up there doing right now at this moment. I know he's canvassing too. Today is hot canvassing day. So, you know, make sure you hit him up, follow him as well. We are going to take a small little intermission. You are watching the Glow Up with Nikki. We are streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Please make sure that you like, follow, share, comment, and subscribe. You are watching WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest station in the world. And if you have any input, any questions, make sure you hit us up. The number is 313-355-6018. That was a lot. But yeah, you know, I think it was sometimes maybe like last year. I had was it last year, this year? I don't know, whatever the date was, doesn't matter. But you know, during the Say Her Name movement, you know, and I kind of posted something saying, "Can we say her name while she's still alive?" Right? As it pertains to these missing Black girls and these girls that have been trafficked, right? Can we say her name and can we look for her while she's still alive?
Yeah, actually say it, actually write it, actually see it. That's a great point.
Yeah,
and you know what's so funny? This is the thing. The point that you raise is that's how you get better. We had Say Her Name under the BLM, right? Mm-hmm. And under the fact Sandra Bland, right? And you're looking at Breonna Taylor, yes. But when you talk about trafficking, we have to actually say it. We got to write it out. This is who we're looking for. Because guess what? Many of those girls and young ladies have not even heard their name in months and years. Think about it. They haven't even heard their name, their government name, the name that they were given at birth. They get changed. And then to hear their name being scrolled somewhere or posted somewhere, that's powerful. They're talking to me. Someone said, Erica Lucille, you're talking to me. You're talking Erica Lucille Ewing. You're talking to me. And that's powerful. And this is the thing. You're not dogging a movement. You're not canceling a culture. You're adding on. You're enhancing. You're giving more perspective. And that's what it's all about. It's about getting better at what we do. It's not about, oh, you outshine me, you outglow me, No, we're going to work together. But I can look at this particular issue and say, this is what this needs. Mm-hmm. I love that. And let's build on that. Let's continue to build. And that's what's going on with Gotta Stop in the clothing line. It's like, I'm building on something. And you can see from the different lines and the different issues and how the perspectives and what I'm creating for those different things, it's all different, you know, but it all goes back to the same thing. We cannot get our consciousness off of these things. We have to focus on that every day. When you're eating at a restaurant, are you grateful? Do you notice somebody else is not eating?
Little things, right?
It keeps you humble. They talk about gratitude and they've talked about mindfulness. Well, this is the ultimate mindfulness. When you wear this lifestyle, it's not, as I said, it's not a movement, it's a lifestyle. You're going to live it. You're either going to live it or not, right? And that's what keeps it fresh. And the different conversations around it that evolve. We're evolving in the conversation of, you know what, Ivy, maybe that should be the next campaign for human trafficking, that we actually write names out. We get permission to write the name. Mm-hmm. So because then, you know, you're talking to me. She could be in the next room. She could be in the next city. She could be next door to you. She needs to hear her name because that's going to make you automatically do that. It's like with stop, it makes you stop, right? That's what the word actually makes you do. It has emotion and action to it. Saying someone's name has an acknowledgement. You know, when you hear your name, you always look. That's brilliant, Abby. Let's work on that. See? That's what I'm talking about. We already got something going on right now.
Okay, so I want to ask you a question, right? So, like, Some people say yay, some people say no as it pertains to the rallies and the marching. Is it effective? Like, what are your perception? What are your views and your thoughts? Like, do you think it's a waste of time, or
Okay, so let me be real honest with you.
beneficial?
Okay, so great question. So let's start with this. I've done rallies, I've done marches, I've organized them. I've been there front line and center. We call them white shirts, where you get the warnings. If you don't get on the sidewalk, you're going to get arrested, all these things. I'm not getting arrested. Let's just be very clear. That was not ever going to be my goal. And when I started with BLM, I'm not doing that. One, I cannot be affected behind bars. Now, those that want to get arrested, let's have a conversation about, well, do you have a record? Can you afford to have a misdemeanor? And do we have the money to get you out right away? Because those bail funds are very new now. But before, it was like you could stay in there forever. And if you have misdemeanor or a warrant that you didn't know about, you're being held. So let's be smart about what we're doing. But demonstration is great. But again, you got to have other people in different places. So you're going to go demonstrate. I'm going to be in his office. I'm going to be on the phone. I'm going to be passing that bill. We got to all work together. We got to do it like a relay race. We cannot do it in a vacuum and then get to the lawmakers. The lawmakers should already know you about to do their rally. And they should already know what you're demanding or what bill needs to be passed. And they need to already get the language that you want, the narrative around this bill, right? We need to understand how this can escalate and move things forward. We got to get organized. Mm-hmm. So it's one thing to take to the streets, emotion, I want to take the streets. But while you're in that moment, somebody else needs to be behind the scenes getting ready and setting everything else up. And we understand that a lot of bills are been, not passed, or they haven't even been brought to the floor. Right. You know what I'm saying? Things have been stalled. And so we have to make sure we're working with everybody to get something to the table to get signed and get in place and implemented. Because again, you can say whatever you want, but it has to be implemented. Juneteenth, federal holiday. Okay, but that's supposed to be implemented in the state. And how does that look? Because some people don't want to pay them for Juneteenth off. They don't want to pay that holiday. So you see how people now is how they interpret it. So we talking about it's a federal holiday, but how does that look in your city? Mm-hmm. Voting rights. How does that look in your city? In Atlanta, to know that you can't even get somebody a cup of water standing online to find out in early voting. I live on 120th Street. They want me to go to 80th Street for early voting. Why am I going to go there when on election day I can go 2 blocks down? Are you kidding? Why are you making it difficult? Why do you have ranked choice voting and we didn't even have a year to educate the community on what that is? There's all these things that come to play to get obstacles in our way. So we've got to understand marching without intention. Okay?
Yeah, because
it's just a convention. To me, it's like a big convention. We're going to have a convention over the death of somebody. We're gonna get together and have a convention, little mini conventions. Ain't nothing happening.
But you know what? I tell people, like, there's a difference between the rallies,
yes,
the marches, and the protests and the demonstrations, right? Oftentimes, people just go out there because they want to be a part of something.
It feels good, right?
You know what? It's cool because guess what? You do need the numbers sometimes, right? You do need people to kind of stand behind you and to have your back when you're out there doing what you're doing. But when it comes down to, are you going to have a rally, it's just like, oh, okay, we're bringing awareness. Okay, this is cool. Like last year, I had a women's empowerment rally, right? I mean, it wasn't nothing that we was really advocating against. It was just, women coming together, supporting one another, and we rallied, right? Cool. That's a rally. We march. That's a march. When you demonstrate, there's one thing. Like a couple weeks ago, maybe a month or so ago, when we shut 8 Mile down. When it wasn't me, shout out to Michigan Liberation. But I was in that crowd where they shut 8 Mile down to demonstrate on behalf of racial profiling, right?
So I'm gonna say this is the thing. We can do all these things, but if the press doesn't come to pick up the story, there's where it all fizzles and fades. You got to make sure that machine is behind you, because once it hits national TV and global television, but again, that's strategic. So you got to know when you're doing it and how you're setting it up. The most successful marches, demonstrations, rallies, you have done something with that media to get in front of that narrative. Someone's going to go to the media. There's going to be interviews set up. There's going to be a press conference. Oh no, we are going to make sure that we have something covered on every base. That takes strategy. That takes community.
And it don't happen overnight.
It doesn't happen overnight. And people, I don't know what they think, but the reason why something might have not had the crowd or the numbers, it could have been a number of reasons. But if the press doesn't come, then you feel like you didn't do anything. But people shouldn't feel like that. You still did do something. Go out there every day. Find a way to get press involved. Right? Because once again, that community needed it. That community needs to know that you're there for them. Right? It's not always about the photo op, but it is about where's the community and where they stand. And you may have to just be at there every single week, saying the same thing till it grows, till it builds. Right? But at the same time, what lawmakers are you meeting with? Who are you going to in your district? Who are you talking to? Whose ears are you bending? What research are you getting? Sometimes they'll say, well, we don't know what to do. You know what? Well, look to other states that had the same problem and try to think about how you can think about that strategy. Don't say, oh, I don't know what we can do. I love what you all do it, talking about with the boarding up the homes and stuff like that for trafficking. New York needs to think about that.
Yeah, it's a lot, that can be done and should be done. But right now, I want to take a moment and let everyone know that you are watching the Glow Up with Miss Nikki. We are streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Make sure you like, share, follow, and subscribe. Oh, and comment too. Make sure you leave me some comments.
Well, Denise Cameron said, preach loving it, love it.
And make sure you hit us up. The number is 313-355-6018. This is Wjzz Cool TV, the coolest station in the world. So we're going to get back to our conversation here with Erica with Got to Stop. So, again, strategy, right? Strategy and team, right? You have to have that mission. You have to know who it is that you need to talk to. You can't just go out there rally. You can't just go out there and protest. You can't go out there and just stand in front of somewhere that has nothing to do with nothing. You can't do that. I mean, I'm just saying, you can't do that. If you have an issue with the business, because it has been done plenty of times, especially here in Detroit. You got a problem with a business owner do something, folks are outside of that business, whether the media show up or not. It's Facebook Live, right? And we gonna get some news.
My thing is after the press is gone, what you gonna do? Right? Because at the end of the day, there are people that do things for photo ops. But what you really brought to me was team. Team is important because everybody on a team don't have the same intention. Remember, this is about the me generation, right? I'm going to get on. I'm going to build my brand. You do what you got to do. So you'll find out who's there after the press is gone. Who's going to still stay in the gap and stand in the gap and speak up at community board meetings and call people on the phone. See, I got personal phone numbers. I don't play with this. Oh, I think that. You don't think. Let's test this.
Everybody. She be like, wait, listen up.
Hold up, let me find out. And then people are like, well, let me get on it. I want to know. I really want to ask the questions to the right people. Point me in a direction so I'm not wasting your time or my time, but I want my question answered. And believe me, when you ignore me, I remember that movie, Fatal Attraction. She said, I will not be ignored, Dan. Yeah, well, do not ignore me. Don't ignore me. That's not a good idea.
But
you don't know when I'm coming and how I'm coming.
Yeah, we was actually getting ready to get into before King got kicked out or whatever, just holding I know, right? If just holding our elected officials accountable, for what it is that they say that they're gonna do. I could just say, personally, when I was a candidate, I would get, I was overwhelmed with emails, and it got to the point where I was just like, you know what? Call me.
I love it. I love it.
Because you know what? Not trying to be funny. It was just like, but like to communicate like via email, number one, it take too long or whatever. My words get misinterpreted. No, you know what I'm saying? Hit me up. This is my
people like a phone call. People do like a phone call.
Yeah,
because one, they think that you're serious about it, and they also don't think you're going to set them up. Because politicians are vulnerable to what's written, right? You see people going to court all the time. Media gets something and it's misinterpreted. If you're going to play fair with the politician. If you really want them to play fair with you, play fair with them. Having a phone call, when they say call me, reach out to my office, do that. Tell the person where you met the person from, so it's got a context. Everybody in the political arena is not trying to blow you off. Okay? So we've got to really use, if they say text me, I love it. You say call me. You meant it.
Yeah, like it wasn't no, look, they got my number. They may call and I'll be like, look, I'm with a patient right now. I'll hit you back. Right. They be like, oh, okay. But it's a matter of just being able to connect, because we're all human.
We are. And here's the thing. We are not, it's not right to be inaccessible, but you have to find a way. You have to find a way. And even if the people that are working with you in your office, find a strategy to say, look, this is email day. I want you to go through these emails and filter it by issue. Then I want to look at those issues and see what I can send them to, what resources. To me, that's what you have to do. I'm sorry, you can't be that busy as a politician and not take care of the community. And you got to tell the community, my day for emails is Wednesday. We go through the emails and we'll have a response. Say what you mean what you say. Be about your word and your business. Address it. That's the problem when we go in transparency, because we don't have the answers. If you don't have the answer, that's okay. Just say, I don't know now. I don't know right now. I don't have that information yet. When I have the information, I will get. That's why people, as much as people want to talk about Cuomo after the fact, what he did during the pandemic and the height, in the beast belly of the beast, he was on every day trying to be transparent as possible. People appreciate it. Now you might find out he wasn't as transparent, but I'm not getting into that. At a time when we needed someone to be on that screen right now to talk to us in New York, to tell us what's happening, I felt like I was getting at least some information. There was another woman in our community, Cordell Clear, I have to shout her out. She was on every day. She's a district leader. Every day doing a Facebook Live about what's happening in Harlem and where you can get the resources. That's what you respect.
Right. And, wow. We got to have you back, Erica. And
love to be back.
It is almost time to wrap up. It's been an hour already.
What?
I know, right?
Wow.
Right. It's been an hour already. That was a really fast hour.
Like, wow, that was quick.
That was quick, but again, thank you for coming on. Shout out to Ken Snap for coming on. Make sure you follow my guests and give them your information again, Erica.
Got to Stop. GOTTOSTOP LLC. That's on Instagram, Twitter, my website, www.gottostopllc.com. Check out the new lines. They're amazing right now. People are totally getting revitalized about the brand. Did a whole thing for Juneteenth. Did something on healing. That's my gray line that I'm wearing now. And renewal. So I'm ready. I'm ready to continue to move forward, to get people wearing my stuff. People have been coming up to me, some celebrity stylists been approaching me. Let's go. Let's do it. Right. Those that say I couldn't do it, I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah, so guys, just make sure you follow Erica. Make sure that you tune in here. I am live every Thursday here for the Glow Up with Nikki here on Wjzz Cool TV at 5 p.m. Make sure you like this page if you're not already doing so. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel and check us out. Share, comment, and wait for next week.
Thank you.
Going to be hot.
Thank you, Nikki.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Peace.
I'll be back.